Hi friends, and welcome back to Vlogmas. Today I wanted to share with you what we did with that baking soda dough that we made. If you haven't seen that video, make sure you go and check out how we made this dough. I saw this on Pinterest and I wanted to use it to make like clay looking ornaments, and I thought this would be a good idea, but as Pinterest tends to do, things don't always turn out the way they are supposed to. So the first thing I did was just roll out the dough, and I think this was my first problem. I think I rolled it out a little bit too thin. I probably should have made it a little thicker before I went and used my cookie cutter to cut out my shapes. So tip 1, make sure it is thicker when you're cutting it. So I'm just using a heart-shaped cookie cutter and cutting hearts out, as many as I can, on my dough. You can see here the thicker ones came up with my cookie cutter and the thinner ones just kind of stayed in place, and the thicker ones ended up turning out better. So I just am removing the rest of the clay around all of my hearts and then taking them all and placing them on my parchment paper so I can poke a hole in them. Since these will be ornaments, you want to make sure you put your hole in them before they dry. I used a pencil. I probably should have used like a wooden skewer or something a little bit smaller, since a pencil is not the same shape all the way through. It's got like a cone because it has a point. So it made my circles a little bit funky, but it was okay. It didn't turn out too terrible. A pencil kind of worked. I just kind of went back through and like made the circle as big as I needed it with it, so it wasn't bad. It just wasn't the best thing to use. And then I went and took my stamp set. These are usually like a couple dollars, like $1 at the craft store. I got mine at Michael's, like in the checkout line where all the discount stuff is, and I have like multiple sets of these, and I immediately regretted dumping all of my letters everywhere because they were in alphabetical order, and now I can't find any of the letters that I need. So I just took my letters and stamped names into each of the hearts. Again, I think this is where I ran into some problems when they didn't turn out quite well. The thinner ones, once I was stamping on them, because I'm pressing the stamp into the dough, it's obviously making it thinner where those names are. So the ones that started out thin were just getting thinner, and the thicker ones did better. So I stamped everybody's names into the hearts, and then you are supposed to let these air dry, or you can bake them in the oven. Air dry is recommended, but I was impatient, so I put them in the oven at 175. You're supposed to put them in for 30 minutes and then flip them over and put them back in for 30 minutes. When I pulled mine out at 30 minutes, I could already see some cracking, so I just let them be and air dried them for a day. And this is what they look like after they air dried overnight. They are cracks in the thinner ones. This one is a bit thicker, you can see, and didn't get a crack. And where those names were, some of them cracked. So you know, this one's a thicker one and it didn't look too terrible, but I don't know if it was a combination of putting them in the oven and not letting them air dry and them being a little bit too thin. So I did take one and I put it on its twine like I planned to do for all of them, and this is how Ayla's little heart looked on our tree. I think it has the opportunity to be a really cute craft and a really cute activity if all goes well, but you know, you can't always have a win. But thanks so much for watching, guys. As always, you can find more from us here. Make sure you subscribe so you can follow along with all of our adventures. Give it a big thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments, have you ever made ornaments like this? Do you know where I went wrong? Thanks. Bye, guys.